What's up everybody, Fury here, welcome to Ultra Space-Time Rush 7 step-by-step walkthrough video. I have a lot of tips and tricks for each battle from this event and I can't wait to share it with you. Let's start! First battle is against Turtles. Now Turtle has level 4000 and 25 million hit point. That's a lot. And what's really annoying about this battle is when Turtles uses a green card, he will restore tons of health. So the main strategy for this battle is to counter that health restoration and to inflict damage as fast and much as possible. That's why the main fighter is GT Vegeta. GT Vegeta is awesome. Every time he hits with a blast or a strike card, he will apply a debuff that will increase the damage received by Turtles, and with his main ability will also counter that health regeneration. Together with GT Vegeta, add some of your stronger yellow fighters. In my case, I chose the dynamic duo of Hit and Kaioken Goku. Synergy is not so nice, but they are individually very strong and they will inflict tons of damage. So, strategy, very simple. Just hit with Vegeta with strike cards or blast cards or green cards or whatever. Apply those nice debuffs on Turtles and then bring your other fighters in and attack him with everything that you got. Continue like that, rotate your fighters, apply the debuffs, and eventually this fight will be a walk in the park. On the right hand side of the screen I have put the timers when each battle will start, so if you are not interested in this fight, just move on to the next one or to the next one, or whatever fight are you interested to check out the details. Anyways, coming back to this fight, to the Turtles fight, Rising Rush is ready here and I will apply as many buffs as possible before delivering the Rising Rush. This was the strategy in order to maximize the inflicted damage, and I suggest you guys, you should do the same. Now this fight will go on and after a while you see I reach timer count 29, 30 and he has just one life bar left. Just a few more hits from hit and this fight will be over just with one attempt. This was fight number 1, pretty easy if you pick the right fighters. Now let's move on. Second fight, it's against Cooler. This fight it's a bit more interesting because Cooler it's an amazing fighter, it's a great tank, has originally 25 million hit point, but he will gain more when he transforms and then he will restore a lot of health when he uses the main ability. So I picked a nice team for him just to inflict as much damage as possible from the first try. I picked Perfect Cell, Extreme Android 16 and Heart Disease Goku. I brought Goku there because, as you know, for this event if you want to get all the points you have to finish the fight with Goku. So yeah, it's a good idea to use Gokus for each fight, but be sure that when you finish the fight to have a Goku in your team. In my case the surprise here it's Android 16. Android 16, Extreme Android 16, when he's defeated he will apply a nice damage buff to the remaining fighters. And that's exactly what we want to do in this fight because we have to inflict tons and tons of damage. So as the fight started, rotate your fighters, use green cards with Extreme Android 16 at the beginning because he will apply nice damage buffs, but don't forget that eventually you will have to let Android 16 get defeated. After he's defeated he will apply a damage buff to Heart Disease Goku and an extra that damage buff and an extra damage buff to Android Perfect Cell because he likes Android so much. So here he transformed, he gained a lot of health, now he is over 28 million health and it's like we are not scratching heal, but don't get disappointed, use Rising Rush, use bonuses, inflict damage as much as possible to him and eventually it will be better. As you're about to see in this fight, I inflicted a lot of damage, play saved, but still when I reach a timer count 69, 68, still he had 22 million health. That's a lot. So this was the time when I decided to let Android 16 get killed. Because of that I stopped dodging his attack, I let him hit me with the Rising Rush, and then the damage from the other two fighters is greatly improved. This is why I let this part of the fight to see. So now Cell has a lot of buffs, I will use all the cards in hand and then execute Rising Rush. Even if I know that I will not finish the fight from the first attempt, still I will take a lot of his health just with this small trick. And yeah, I want to remind you guys, you don't need to finish the fights from the first attempt. So you can start again, but you have to be careful because they will restore health, and it's possible that you may play in vain. So that's why try to use these small strategies and tricks to optimize your damage and don't let him heal so much. This is about at the end of the fight. I managed to hit him with another Rising Rush, and that damage buff, I think it's still there. Still, anyways, he started with 29 million if you remember, and now he is somewhere around 10 million health. That's pretty good, not bad from the first attempt, but it's time to try with another team. So in order to finish him up, remember you have to bring Goku. In my case, I put there Goku Kid and then use a nice team of Legend Rhodes, Kami, Piccolo and full power Frieza. Don't get fooled. Even if Cooler has just 9 million health left, still he will heal, he will gain a lot of health back. So you have to pick a good team and play safe in order to defeat him eventually. That's why Frieza, it's a perfect candidate. He inflicts tons of damage when you bring him into the fight, especially if you're using a special attack. Now, Cooler started the fight without transforming, but when he will transform, you're about to see that he will gain again health, and afterwards, when he uses the main ability, he will restore even more health. In this case, now he has 7 million health. Even if I'm hitting him with everything that I got here, and using Kid Goku, his Zenkai Awaken at level 5 now, still it will be not so easy. This fight will not be that easy because he will heal. You're about to see in a second, he will bring his health back to 13 millions. That's a lot. Yeah, you see, so he was 5 millions and now he's 30 million health. So play safe, inflict damage as much as possible. And now in my case I'm at timer count 97 or so, and he's almost defeated. My fighters are there intact, he barely scratched me. Of course, if you rotate the fighters and avoid his attacks, then it should be fine, should be no problem. And yeah, just few shots, and with that being said, Cooler, the second fight from this event, is down. Next one, it's an interesting one, it's fighting against Metal Cooler. It's not fighting just against one Metal Cooler, it's fighting against 3 Metal Coolers, each one has 6 million health. Now, I don't know if you are familiar with Metal Cooler, but he's a pretty amazing regeneration and lineage of evil fighter. With his main ability, he can restore Ali's health by 20% and also cancel attribute downgrades. That it's pretty interesting, but if you multiply that times 3, then it can be really annoying. So each time we fight against these guys, they will restore 60% of their health back. We have to do something to counter, and my original idea was to use an interesting team, a Majin Buu team. Now the surprise for them was Super Buu. Super Buu has unique ability, and after 25 timer counts he will inflict some nice debuffs and also minus 50% to health restoration for 45 timer counts. That's impressive, that's pretty good. I thought in the beginning, yeah, this is a good idea, let's try it. So I brought on the bench some other boosters that I know that I'm not going to use in this event, and I knew that I'm not going to finish this fight from one shot, but that's why I didn't bring any Goku into the team. So as the fight started, I was pretty confident about it, but there is a catch, there is a small catch there that I forgot about it. His main ability, Metal Cooler Metal ability, it will not just restore health, but will also clear the other debuffs. So this means that when Super Buu will enter the fight and will apply those nice debuffs on them, then the first time a Metal Cooler will use his main ability will cancel that. So we will cancel actually just one main ability, the other 2 will be still there. I figured that out immediately when the battle started, I remembered. But anyways, it started, so I had to continue, and I suggest you guys to do the same. Even if you are doing something wrong, just keep fighting and keep playing your best, because you have to take damage from them, you have to inflict damage as much as possible. Anyways, as the time passed and everything was okay, I brought in Super Buu. You're about to see in a second. When Super Buu entered the fight, he will inflict those nice debuffs on all the other opponents. And that was a pretty good idea. That was a good idea, but like I told you, you see now the debuffs are there. There are a lot of debuffs. Hit him with everything that you got. Maybe in this time window you can inflict damage because they will take increased damage, of course. Problem is that when they will use their main ability, all these are cancelled. That was a bummer. So I got a little bit depressed, but still continued the fight, and I took it almost to the end, but eventually they managed to finish my Buu team. So as you can see, it was a good attempt. I still managed to get some of their health, and yeah, almost health. Then I got a great idea. I will try another surprise, and this time I use Awakened Super Saiyan Goku. I don't know if you know, but Awakened Super Saiyan Goku at level 1 has plus 80% damage inflicted against tag Lineage of Evil when 2 allies are defeated. That sounded like a good idea, and I let this fight in because I want to show you what happened if the plans go wrong into this fight, and why you should treat this fight very serious, because it's pretty annoying that 60% health regeneration can be really annoying. In my case, I thought, okay, I will start fighting, I will inflict damage as much as possible, and eventually let the other 2 fighters die, and then finish them off with Goku, because it's Goku and we can destroy them. But not always the plans works like they were think. So as the battle started, they started inflicting damage to me. I avoided as much as possible, but still, fight was going pretty well. Eventually they starting regeneration, and when they start to use their main ability, then everything turned, because immediately I can see the health coming back to each of them, and they used it one after the other. That was impressive. It's like I didn't use the first fight. So with that being said, the super plan went to the basket. Don't worry. The last resort, not the last resort of course, but one of the solution is Ginyu Force. And we have here Goku Captain Ginyu. Goku Captain Ginyu, every time he enters the fight, will apply a damage debuff to his opponent. That's pretty good. Remember guys, we have to finish each fight at the end with one Goku character. So in our case, this Captain Ginyu, who has Goku's body, it's not actually Goku. He doesn't have Goku tag. So even if you're playing very well with them, and if you maybe finish the fight, still remember to always bring Goku into the fight. Anyways, this solution, this team was actually a lot better than the other two, because these guys' synergy, it's pretty good. They will apply all during the fight, they will apply damage debuffs, and they will have damage buffs for them. So Captain Ginyu will it's in 3 bodies now. It's 2 fighters for original body and 1 in Goku, and they work together perfectly. They have Ginyu Force tag and Frieza Force tag, and that's amazing. As you can see, the fight went on, and around timer count 79, with after one Rising Rush, one of the Meta Cooler went down. So that's the beginning of the end for them, and exactly what I was expecting, because now I know that they will not restore so much health when we start another fight. Now this was 1 down, 2 to go. Then after a while, at timer count 38, 39, something like that, the second Meta Cooler went down. And that's again another win. It's another very good thing, because we are getting really close to finish this battle also. Anyways, after I almost defeated them, I let them finish me off, because like I told you in the beginning of the battle, remember you have to have Goku into your party when you are finishing one fight from this event in order to get all the bonuses. Now you can also forfeit the fight, but in my case I was doing something else also here, and I just let him finish me off. Now at the end, sorry, the last team that I'm choosing, it's something very light, because I know that he will not be able to defeat me now. He just maybe can use his health regeneration just once, so that is not that much. I brought a purple Goku that is not important, and Hero Goku, and 2 other green fighters, and with just a few hits from the battle start, Metal Cooler, it's down, and third battle from this event, it's over. That was interesting, and I can tell you guys, so far this was the most interesting and hard fight. Now the next one, it's against legendary Super Saiyan Broly. And don't get fooled, because Broly has level 5000 and 40 million hit point. It's a lot. What he doesn't have is hair regeneration. So we can play a little bit and make a nice and maybe one of my favorite teams. Sagas from the Movies team with Zenkai Awakened Broly and 2 blue Vegetas. Transforming to Super Saiyan God Vegeta and transforming to Super Saiyan Vegeta. This team, it's pretty good, and yeah, even if Broly will not restore much of his health during the fight, still he has good stuff, good stats, and 40 million health, so maybe you will not kill him from the first attempt. Nevertheless, use a very good and solid blue team. In my case, I used the Sagas from the Movies team, and as the match started, take care to avoid his attack and inflict damage as much as possible, like I told you for the other fights. But even if you're doing like that, at the end of the battle, he still has like 17 million. So it was good. We started at 40, now he has 70 million. Pretty good, but we have to finish him off with a Goku in the team. That's why I was thinking, okay, let's keep this in Sagas from the Movies. And I will use Fist Goku, but together with him I brought a new Broly and Zenga. Now this is again another Sagas from the Movies team. Pretty good, with good synergy between these two fighters. Fist Goku is there also, but I will not count on him. Most of the damage will be done by Zenga and the new Broly. If you notice fighter, I use it in other missions. It will greatly buff herself, but also her Sagas from the Movies Alice. And when she's defeated, he will apply a debuff on the opponent, and that can be pretty useful if necessary. Now in my case, Broly has like 18 million hit point left, and even if it's a lot, still I think this will not be a problem for this awesome team, because this Broly is pretty good. Even if I have him just at 3 stars, still he can get the job done. So as the fight continues, try to avoid attacks, use all your cards, use main abilities and everything, and when the timer reach around 49 or 48 or whatever, the last Rising Rush for this Broly was almost ready. Now, comparing to the other battles, this fight was not that hard. I like it, I mean I like Broly and I like playing against him. And even if he doesn't have hair restoration, this Broly doesn't have hair restoration, still he put up a very good fight. Like I said, impressive stats, but eventually he will fall. Don't forget to put a Goku into your team. Now, with that being said, we move on to the 5th battle from this event, and this fight, it's not harder, it's against Fused Android 13. Android 13, it's pretty good, he hates Goku so much, and I think that's why they put him into this event. But he's an android, so every time you see an android, and he has also blue color, then the first idea and maybe the best idea is to bring green Goku. You know, the Spirit Bomb, absorbing Spirit Bomb Goku. Together with him, 2 other green fighters. One of them, the surprise, is this Extreme Bojack. This Extreme Bojack is pretty good. He will give buffs to the allies and inflict debuffs to the opponent. That can be pretty useful during the fight. I brought him, and of course Radzik, because it's also a very strong green fighter, and he will also inflict enemy debuffs during the fight, like will cancel all his buffs or will increase the damage that he receives when he uses a green card. So using Radzik, green card, and of course bringing Bojack in and out of the fight will boost the other fighters and will apply nice damage debuffs to your opponent. Of course, the damage dealer from this fight will be Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku. So originally he starts the fight at 35 million hit point and doesn't have means to regenerate his health. Nevertheless, he's still pretty strong, so even if I have color advantage against him, it's a good idea to avoid his attacks, because if you get hit, then every attack will hurt. You see here was almost half of the health of Extreme Bojack, and he's upgraded to maximum. So play safe, avoid attack, and don't forget to inflict as much debuffs as possible. If you play it right, then around 30 timer counts, one Rising Rush, the last Rising Rush was enough to finish off Fused Android 13. Was a pretty good fight, like I told you, not so hard, and I played it with one team, directly with one team. And the key factor, the MVP from this team, is that Spirit Bomb absorbed Goku. So with that being said, we move on to the next fight, and the next fight it's against Janemba, that has level 5000 and 40 million hit point. Now he has blue color, and I remember immediately that Gogeta is also boosted for this event. That's why if you have green Gogeta, I suggest you use green Gogeta, then bring another fusion warrior if you have maybe Super Saiyan 2 Kefla like I do. Bring her also in, and a Goku character, of course. I thought I can kill Janemba with one team, so I brought maybe some of my best green fighters, because we don't need green fighters anymore after this fight. It's a good team, two of them are boosted, but still Janemba has 40 million hit point. He has some health regeneration during the fight and also nice stats. That's why the same idea is to play safe, to rotate your fighters and inflict damage as much as possible. So in our case, use main ability of Gogeta, and then you be sure that you hit him with a special attack. Of course, don't forget about ultimate attack of Kefla and the Spirit Bomb of Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Nevertheless, even if this team is great and we have color advantage and I punish Janemba all over the match, when we are about to finish the fight, still it was not enough. Janemba had still 10 million health, and that's pretty much considering that all the match I just swap fighters and inflict damage to him. He started at 40 and now he's around 10. That is pretty good, but not enough to finish off Janemba. So don't underestimate Janemba. Even if he's alone and you have pretty strong green fighters, still he's an opponent you have to take care, and if he hits you then it will hurt. That's why play safe, avoid his attack, rotate your fighters, and if you get killed from the first try, try again, but don't forget to bring a Goku. That's why in my case, because we don't need green fighters anymore, I brought GT Goku, and I'm sure you guys have this GT Goku because it's pretty popular, and together with him two androids, and one of my favorite androids is First Form Cell. First Form Cell is pretty good, he has good stats, but what's really nice about him, it's a small secret. If you keep him into the battle for 12 timer counts, then he will apply a nice debuff on the opponent and will increase by 50% the damage he receives. This is exactly the strategy I was applying for this fight, and immediately I brought him into the match and start avoiding and maybe take some damage if it's necessary, doesn't matter. Just remember to keep him for 12 timer counts, because as you are about to see very soon, that debuff will do wonders and will definitely hurt Janemba. Now the debuff was applied, and all the damage that will inflict to him will be 50% increased. That's why immediately around timer count 110, this fight was almost over. Overall, Janemba, it's a pretty strong fighter, but it's not that hard. His regeneration is not that impressive, and we have pretty good green characters. So play safe, avoid his attack, and eventually you will finish it. Don't forget to put a Goku into your team. And with that being said, we are to the last fight, the last battle. The last battle is against legendary, no, it's not the legendary Super Saiyan Broly, it's Broly Super Saiyan. The guy who is very strong, he's powerful, he transforms, and he also has a great hair regeneration with his main ability. But I prepared for him a free-to-play friendly surprise that I hope you'll enjoy and you'll use. That surprise is Android 21. Android 21, it's amazing, and every time she hits with a card will apply a debuff that will increase the damage received and will also somehow cancel part of the hair restoration that the opponent has. In our case, Android 21 has two tags, I think 3 tags, female regeneration and android. And because we are fighting against a very strong red opponent, I brought 2 strong regeneration fighters, in our case Super Baby and Lord Slug. Now these 3 are making a pretty good team. The synergy between them is pretty nice. We have their hair restoration, we have damage buffs, and we also have key restoration. That's pretty good, because the main idea when fighting with this team is to inflict as much damage as possible to Broly. Even if we can cancel somehow his hair regeneration and we can inflict damage to him, still he's pretty impressive. He starts off at 35 million hit point but when he transforms he's at 50 million hit point. That's a lot. So we have to take care to exploit all these small details and inflict as much damage as possible. That's why all the time use Android 21 to use blast cards, strike cards or even green cards and apply as many debuffs as possible. As you can see, he started at 35 millions, but immediately when he transforms he will go up to 50 million. That's amazing, that's pretty good and makes Broly a pretty scary fighter. But luckily for us we have solutions, we have Android 21 and that those damage debuffs that she applies are pretty useful. So even if I play it and you rotate your fighter, still I managed to finish off at around 18 millions. That's amazing, it's pretty good, it's a pretty good start. But now let's finish in style. So every time you see a red fighter, I'm thinking about blue Super Saiyan Bardock. Together with him, let's bring some other Super Saiyans, of course, and the best Super Saiyans are Angry Goku and Super Gogeta. These are amazing, this team is amazing. Bardock will buff them during the fight. We put there something on the bench just to maximize the damage that we will do. And yeah, the last thing that we can do is to start. Remember, at the beginning Goku and Gogeta are not transformed, so they will not buff and will not receive buffs from Super Saiyan Bardock and will not buff Super Saiyan Bardock. So your main priority is to avoid attacks and stall a little bit until you are able to transform these two amazing fighters to Super Saiyan. After you transform these fighters to Super Saiyan, then this fight will be like a walk in the park. As you can see now, there is no Super Saiyan to the team, so Bardock has no buffs. And if we swap to Goku, then he receives almost nothing, he receives just his normal buffs. But now he's transforming to Super Saiyan, and that it's pretty good because we can afterwards get buffs from Bardock and also give Bardock's buff. We'll do the same also with Gogeta. But the damage is already there, it's pretty good. Saving Rising Rush, so we are sure that we have all the buffs on our fighters before delivering Rising Rush. You see, he transformed, he gained again a lot of health, he's at 50 millions again, but this team is capable of inflicting tons and tons of damage. So it's the same, rotate your fighters, avoid attacks, and when you have buffs on you, then yeah, just use Rising Rush and maximize your damage. I will let this fight, all this fight for you guys to see it because it's pretty good and it's not that long, so you'll not get bored. I hope you enjoyed this video so far. I know it's long. I hope you guys will get some nice tips and tricks from this event and you'll enjoy it. Nevertheless, back to the fight now as we continue. After this Rising Rush and 4 million inflicted damage, Broly has still almost 8 million damage. That's a lot. But the fight, it just started. We gained tons of cards, tons of buffs with the main abilities and everything. And when I reached this point, I only wanted, my idea was to finish this fight in style. So to finish this fight in style is simple. Switch to Bardock, make some damage if you can, or if you avoid, doesn't matter, but don't forget, bring in Angry Goku at the end and finish off with a legendary finish. With that being said, this event is over and this concludes the final battle from this event. I know it's long, this is a long video, maybe it's probably the longest video I've did, but I'm sure that you will get some nice information from here, and I'm very curious to know what tricks and tips did you use to finish this event, or if you are finishing this event. The reward is not that big, it's just some tickets that we can use to summon Goku. But yeah, it's there, and because this PvP season was pretty long and it's still ongoing there, it's nice to have this kind of break. Now, with that being said, this concludes all the fights from this event. This is Fury. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and gathered some nice information from this video. Until next time, stay safe, play safe, see you soon, and take care. Bye!